Welcome back, Lincoln currency. In the world of coin collecting, there is a special fascination with everyday coins that most people pass over without a second thought, coins that end up in change jars, between couch cushions, or on the floor of a car. But within those coins sometimes lies the potential for something extraordinary, something that connects us to history, to artistry, to economics, and to rare instances of minting anomalies that transform a humble 1-cent piece into an object of intrigue, desire, and occasionally remarkable value. And among the coins minted in recent years, one that continues to spark conversation and curiosity is the 2017 D Lincoln Shield cent, struck in Denver and distributed across the United States by the billions, yet still a coin that draws collectors in for the possibility of high-grade examples, unique errors, and the enduring appeal of the Lincoln cent series. Imagine holding in your hand a coin that weighs just 2.5 grams, measures roughly 19 millimeters in diameter, and has a plain, smooth edge that has been standard for pennies for decades, its coppery surface shining with that familiar reddish hue that is in fact only a thin copper plating over a zinc core, a composition that has been in place since 1982, when the U.S. Mint shifted away from the heavier solid bronze alloy to a less expensive material due to rising copper prices. Yet despite this change, the Lincoln penny has remained a fixture in American coinage, retaining the same basic obverse design originally created over a century ago by Victor David Brenner. On the obverse of the 2017 D cent we see the profile of Abraham Lincoln facing to the right, his features carefully rendered to show the depth of Brenner's sculptural work, with the inscription "I in God We Trust" above his head, Liberty positioned to his left, and the date 2017 to the right. Immediately followed by the small capital letter D, signifying that this coin was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the primary facilities of the United States Mint, along with Philadelphia, San Francisco, and West Point, each with its own history and tradition in coinage production. Turning the coin over to its reverse, we encounter the Union Shield design, which has been in use since 2010, replacing the 4 reverse designs that were featured during the 2009 bicentennial of Lincoln's birth and the centennial of the Lincoln cent itself. Those 4 designs depicted scenes from Lincoln's life in Kentucky, Indiana, Illinois, and Washington, D.C., but beginning in 2010 the Mint settled on the modern shield design created by artist Lindo Bass and sculpted by Joseph Mena, the shield representing the United States preserved as a union, with 13 vertical stripes symbolizing the original 13 states joined under a single horizontal bar, and a scroll draped across bearing the denomination 1 cent. The motto E Pluribus Unum displayed above, and the legend United States of America circling the top rim. The Denver Mint in 2017 produced over 4 billion of these coins, a staggering number that underscores how common they are in circulation. Yet within that sea of billions there exists a small fraction of coins that emerge in exceptional condition, graded at the highest levels of mint state, coins with full original red luster, sharp strike details, and pristine surfaces that attract the attention of collectors and grading services such as PCGS and NGC. And it is these top examples that begin to rise in value, with prices climbing from a few dollars at MS-66 red to hundreds of dollars at MS-68 red, and in very rare cases even more if a truly flawless example certified as MS-69 or MS-70 were ever to appear. Collectors also search the 2017 D pennies for minting errors. Though none of the dramatic double dies or major design varieties are known for this date, there can still be off-center strikes, clipped planchets, struck through debris errors, or transitional planchet mistakes where a coin may have been struck on a blank intended for another denomination, all of which can carry premiums far beyond face value depending on the rarity and visual impact of the error. The intrigue of the 2017 D cent is not so much that it is rare in the conventional sense, after all billions were made, but that within its vast mintage there can exist coins that defy the odds by surviving in flawless state, or that exhibit a striking anomaly, and in the coin collecting world perfection and uniqueness are 2 of the most powerful drivers of value, which is why discussions sometimes drift into sensational territory where hypothetical perfect coins are imagined to be worth astronomical sums, even into the realm of millions, though in reality no such sale has occurred for this date and mint mark. And reputable auction records place the highest prices for exceptional examples in the hundreds or low thousands of dollars at most. Yet the fascination persists, because part of collecting is the thrill of the hunt, the idea that the next coin you examine could be the one with an error never before documented, or a grade so high that it surpasses all others known, and the 2017 D Lincoln Shield cent offers that chance even if the probability is extremely small. And this is why collectors carefully inspect the date, mint mark, the fine lines of Lincoln's portrait, the sharpness of the shield details, the clarity of the legends, and the overall surface quality, looking for that standout piece that could transform a common coin into a certified treasure. The story of the 2017 D Lincoln cent is tied to a much longer history that begins more than a century earlier, when the Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909. This was the first circulating United States coin to bear the portrait of a real historical person, a break from the long tradition of allegorical liberty figures. President Theodore Roosevelt wanted to redesign the nation's coinage, and in preparation for the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth, the Mint commissioned Victor David Brenner to create a design that would commemorate Lincoln's legacy. His obverse portrait of Lincoln has endured for over 100 years, making it one of the most iconic and longest-running designs in American coinage history. When the Lincoln cent debuted in 1909, it featured the wheat ears reverse, with two stylized wheat stalks framing the denomination. That design ran from 1909 until 1958, replaced in 1959 by the Lincoln Memorial Reverse in honor of the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth and the 50th anniversary of the coin itself. The Memorial Reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, ran for 5 decades before the reverse changed again for the bicentennial celebrations of Lincoln's birth in 2009, when 4 different reverse designs depicted different stages of his life. Finally, in 2010, the Union Shield Reverse made its debut, intended as a permanent replacement, symbolizing Lincoln's role in preserving the Union. The 2017 D cent thus represents a continuation of this long evolution. The Denver Mint, responsible for its production, has been minting coins since 1906. Located in Colorado, the Denver Mint uses the D Mint mark, which has appeared on countless coins over the years. In 2017, its presses struck billions of cents at high speed, feeding zinc blanks coated with copper into dies that impressed the designs. These coins emerged by the millions every day, sent into Federal Reserve distribution, then into circulation. At first glance, a 2017 D cent might appear to be just another modern penny, but collectors understand that not all coins are created equal. Differences in strike quality, die state, handling, and storage conditions can mean that one coin may survive in perfect mint state, while another from the same production line becomes marred with scratches, bag marks, and wear. This is where grading comes into play. Professional grading services like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company, use a 70-point scale, with mint state coins ranging from MS60, uncirculated but with significant marks, up to MS70, perfect, with no visible imperfections even under magnification. For a 2017 D cent, most coins will grade in the MS60 to MS65 range if they are fresh from rolls or bags. Coins in MS66 are scarcer, MS67 rarer still, and MS68 extremely rare. A coin certified at MS68 red can bring hundreds of dollars because of its scarcity at that grade level. The term, red, refers to the color designation for copper coins. Over time, copper can tone from its original bright red color to red-brown and finally to brown. A modern coin like the 2017 D is almost always bright red when minted, but even in storage it can begin to change color. A coin that maintains its full red luster decades later is more desirable to collectors, which is why grading services note color designations as RD, red, RB, red-brown, or BN, brown. For a modern cent to command top value, it typically must have a red designation at a very high grade. While the vast majority of 2017 D cents will never be worth more than face value, there is always the possibility of an extraordinary example. This might be a coin struck from fresh dies with exceptional sharpness, with perfectly preserved surfaces free of contact marks, stored carefully from the moment of minting. Such a coin, certified as MS69 red, could bring unprecedented attention, because no known examples at that grade might exist. Auction competition among registry set collectors could drive the price into the thousands. It is in such speculative scenarios that some enthusiasts dream of even higher valuations, imagining that a unique, perfect example might be worth millions. While no 2017 cent has ever sold for such a figure, the principle is not impossible in numismatics. Unique coins like the 1933 St. Gaudens Double Eagle have sold for over $18 million because of their rarity and historical importance. In the world of pennies, coins like the 1943 brown cent or the 1955 double die have reached tens or hundreds of thousands in auction because of their rarity and demand. Could a 2017 cent ever join that club? Theoretically, only under extraordinary circumstances, perhaps a unique pattern strike, an experimental composition, or a major undiscovered die variety could surface. If a coin were proven to be the only example of such a variety, authenticated and certified, it could ignite massive bidding wars. In such a case, speculative prices in the millions are not completely unimaginable, but they are extraordinarily unlikely. What makes the topic fascinating for a YouTube audience is not just the realistic valuation of the coin, but the passion, the hope, and the excitement of searching through change, examining each date and mint mark, looking closely under magnification for doubling in the letters or numbers, inspecting for any signs of planchet flaws, die cracks, or unusual features. The 2017 cent becomes a symbol of this treasure hunt. As collectors search, they also learn about the economics of minting, the artistry of coin design, and the care needed to preserve coins. Even modern coins like the 2017 when kept in pristine condition, should be stored in holders or tubes that prevent exposure to moisture, air, and handling. Over time, these coins can remain in top condition, and who knows, future shifts in the collector market, registry competition, or a newly discovered variety could elevate their value. The process of grading and authenticating a 2017 Lincoln cent is both technical and meticulous, and it is one of the key reasons some coins rise dramatically in value. When a collector believes they have found an exceptional example, they often submit it to a grading service such as PCGS or NGC. The coin is carefully packaged, shipped to the grading facility, and then examined under precise lighting and magnification by multiple professional graders. These graders assess strike sharpness, luster, surface preservation, and eye appeal before assigning a grade on the 70-point scale. The final grade determines much of the coin's market value, particularly for modern coins where population reports, how many coins exist at each grade, are closely monitored by competitive collectors. For a modern coin like the 2017 even a single point of difference in grade can mean a significant jump in price. A coin graded MS67 red might sell for $50 to $100, while an MS68 red could sell for several hundred. If a certified MS69 red were to appear, its scarcity might drive the price into the thousands simply because registry set collectors are willing to pay premiums to secure the finest known example for their collections. This competitive dynamic is one of the most fascinating aspects of modern coin collecting, collectors vying for the top population coins to achieve or maintain number one rankings on registry leaderboards. Beyond high-grade examples, another category of coins that draws strong collector interest is errors. While the 2017 cent has no widely recognized major variety like a double die obverse, that does not mean error coins do not exist. Modern minting equipment is extremely precise, but at the scale of billions of coins, mistakes inevitably occur. Some coins may be struck off-center, producing an incomplete design with part of the blank planchet still visible. Others may be struck on defective planchets, leading to clipped edges, lamination flaws, or missing layers of copper plating. Occasionally, coins are struck through grease or foreign debris, leaving unusual blank areas on the design. Each of these error types has its own market value depending on the severity and visual impact of the mistake. A minor off-center strike might be worth only a few dollars, but a dramatic 50% off-center error can bring $100 or more. A coin struck on a blank intended for another denomination, known as a wrong planchet error, can fetch hundreds or even thousands depending on the specifics. Such coins are highly sought after because they are tangible, visible mistakes, oddities that slip through the mint's quality control and into circulation. In the modern coin market, however, one of the biggest drivers of extreme valuations is rarity combined with condition. A perfect or near-perfect coin, or a unique error, can ignite interest beyond what the average person might expect for a 1-cent piece. This is why speculative discussions sometimes assign massive valuations to certain coins, even mentioning figures like $10 million. Realistically, a 2017 cent is not selling for anywhere near that today, but in numismatics, extreme prices are not unheard of for the right combination of rarity, desirability, and collector competition. For example, think of the 1913 Liberty Head nickel. Only 5 are known to exist, and each is valued in the millions. Or the 1933 St. Gaudens double eagle, which sold for over $18 million. In the world of cents, the 1943 bronze cent produced an error when a few leftover bronze planchets were struck during the year the mint switched to steel cents, has sold for hundreds of thousands. The 1955 double die cent, with its dramatic doubled lettering, has sold for tens of thousands in high grades. These examples show that extreme prices are possible under rare circumstances, and they fuel the excitement of searching even modern coins like the 2017 D. The idea of a 2017 D cent being worth $10 million is, in the present market, purely hypothetical, but it captures the imagination. Imagine a scenario where an unknown prototype or pattern coin exists, perhaps struck in an experimental composition or with a misaligned die that creates a totally unique appearance. If such a coin were authenticated as unique and tied to a significant moment in mint history, high-end collectors and institutions could compete aggressively, pushing the price into uncharted territory. While this is unlikely, it is the possibility of the extraordinary that keeps collectors examining even the most ordinary coins. Meanwhile, the day-to-day collector community treats coins like the 2017 D as a gateway into numismatics. People search rolls from banks, jars of pocket change, and bags from the mint in hopes of finding that standout coin. They use magnifying glasses, microscopes, and online resources to study the tiniest details. Every coin tells a story, and the 2017 D tells the story of modern minting technology, the continuation of a century-old design, and the ongoing excitement of the hunt. The history of coin values in the collector market shows us that sometimes it is not just rarity, but also timing, publicity, and collector psychology that drive certain coins to legendary status. The 2017 D Lincoln cent is minted in massive numbers, yet even coins with such enormous mintages can occasionally capture the spotlight when a special story or a sensational discovery emerges. In the early days of coin collecting, values were often tied to coins that had simply gone out of circulation due to age or replacement by new designs. Over time, however, the dynamics shifted. Now the stories behind the coins and the condition in which they survive play just as big a role. When you consider a coin like the 2017 D, it is important to understand how quickly hype can build around modern issues. A single certified example in a population of billions, if it achieves a grade no other coin has reached, can instantly become famous. This fame is amplified by auction houses, numismatic news outlets, and social media. Collectors talk, videos are made, and suddenly the public begins to see an ordinary-looking penny as something extraordinary. This happened with various modern quarters, dimes, and cents over the years. Often it is not because the coin is inherently rare, but because it has become a symbol of an achievement in grading or of a spectacular error. The psychology of collectors is a fascinating force in the coin market. Competitive collectors, especially those involved in registry sets, are driven by a need to own the best possible example. When a coin like the 2017 D Lincoln cent has only a handful of coins certified at the top grade, demand becomes intense. This is where price jumps occur. Even small population changes in the census can cause shifts in value because the number of available coins at that grade may be just enough to create a bidding war. This collector psychology also explains why certain coins remain valuable over long periods. Once a coin becomes known as a key or semi-key date, or as an important variety, it develops a reputation that sustains its value. Even if more examples surface, the legend persists. This is why coins like the 1909 SVDB penny, the 1914 D penny, and the 1955 double-die penny have remained popular for decades. For the 2017 D cent, there is no known key variety at present, but that does not prevent the possibility of future discoveries that could elevate its status. Publicity also plays a huge role. When mainstream news outlets or viral online posts talk about a coin being worth millions, they often exaggerate or take rare auction results out of context, but these headlines capture the imagination of the general public. People begin looking through their change, asking if their coins might be valuable. This influx of attention can temporarily drive up interest in certain dates and mint marks. For the 2017 D, it only takes one extraordinary auction result or one new discovery for the coin to enter a similar cycle of attention. Historically, market trends for modern coins show that high-grade coins hold their value best when they are part of a larger competitive category, such as registry sets. The Lincoln Shield cents, which began in 2010, are actively collected by those who want complete sets of the highest graded coins. This means every date and mint mark combination has its role in the competitive set, including the 2017 D. If a collector wants to have the number 1 set, they need the finest 2017 D they can find, and if there are very few available in the highest grade, prices can escalate quickly. Of course, in reality, a $10 million value for a single 2017 D cent remains an extreme hypothetical. Yet in the world of numismatics, the fascination is not just about the current price, but about the possibility of extraordinary events. History has shown us that unexpected coins can become sensations, and the $10 million figure serves as a symbolic reminder of the hope, excitement, and dreams that drive collectors to keep searching. For the everyday collector or viewer, the important takeaway is that while most 2017 D cents are worth only face value, careful examination, knowledge, and patience can sometimes lead to valuable finds. Whether it is an error, a high-grade example, or a coin that one day becomes famous for a unique reason, there is always the thrill of the hunt. This thrill keeps the coin hobby alive, sustaining generations of collectors and sparking new interest every time a modern coin makes headlines. The Denver Mint's role in producing the 2017 D Lincoln cent is central to understanding how billions of coins can still yield rare gems. In 2017, the Denver Mint was operating at peak efficiency, using modern high-speed presses capable of striking hundreds of coins per minute. These presses fed copper-plated zinc planchets into dies engraved with the obverse portrait of Abraham Lincoln and the Union Shield reverse. The D mint mark on the obverse just below the date identified the coins as products of the Denver facility. While the machinery was precise, the massive scale of production meant there were still small variations from coin to coin. Dies wear over time, becoming slightly eroded or cracked, and this can produce coins with weaker strikes, die breaks, or unusual surface textures. In some cases, when dies are replaced or adjusted, misalignments occur, resulting in coins with off-center strikes or doubled images. Most of these are caught before the coins leave the mint, but a few slip into circulation. This is why collectors always pay close attention to modern issues like the 2017 D, because even a tiny variation can make a coin a valuable collectible. The process begins with planchet preparation. Copper-plated zinc blanks are punched from large coils of metal and then tumbled, cleaned, and prepared for striking. These planchets are carefully weighed to ensure they fall within tolerance, typically around 2.5 grams for a modern cent. Sometimes, however, a slightly underweight or overweight planchet can pass through the system. If a coin is struck on such a planchet, it may be considered an error and attract collector interest. Even more dramatic are coins struck on completely wrong planchets, such as a cent design accidentally struck on a dime or foreign coin blank, errors that are highly prized when authenticated. Once the planchets are ready, they are fed into the coining press. Each press uses an obverse die, a reverse die, and a collar to shape and strike the coin. The dies impress the design with tremendous pressure, creating the sharp details of Lincoln's portrait and the Union Shield. Over the course of their life, dies can strike hundreds of thousands of coins. As they wear, they are replaced, but occasionally a damaged die may produce coins with cracks or chips. These die breaks, or cuds, are another variety of error that collectors search for in coins like the 2017 D. After striking, coins are bagged in bulk and sent to Federal Reserve banks for distribution. It is at this stage that coins can acquire contact marks, small scratches, and abrasions from colliding with one another. This is one of the main reasons that finding a pristine high-grade coin is difficult. Coins in fresh rolls or mint-sealed bags have the best chance of being in top condition, but even then, most will have minor imperfections. This is why an MS-68 or higher 2017 D cent is so rare. Only a tiny fraction survive without flaws. Looking back at auction history, we can see how these conditions have affected prices for modern coins. Coins like the 2010 Shield cents, 2011, 2014, and others in MS-68 or MS-69 have sold for hundreds or thousands depending on scarcity. While none have reached anywhere close to $10 million, the principle remains the same. Extreme rarity at the top grade can drive extreme prices. This is what collectors dream about when searching through bank rolls of 2017 D cents. Legendary auction stories add to the allure. Consider the 1969 S double die obverse cent, a coin once thought to be worth only a few $100s until an example sold for tens of thousands. Or the 1972 double die cent, which also saw sharp increases in value after publicity and demand grew. These examples show that coins that are seemingly ordinary in year and design can become headline makers under the right circumstances. For the 2017 D cent, it is not impossible to imagine a scenario where a newly discovered variety, perhaps a double die, a major misalignment, or a unique striking error, could make headlines and create a frenzy of searching. If such a coin were unique, in perfect condition, and backed by credible authentication, the hype could become massive. While $10 million would still be an extraordinary leap, the excitement alone could push prices higher than anyone would have expected. This constant possibility of discovery is what keeps the coin hobby vibrant. Every time someone opens a roll of 2017 D cents, there is a sense of mystery. Will it be just another roll of common coins, or will there be something different, something that could change the market? This unknown is what turns an ordinary 1-cent piece into a potential treasure, and it's why the story of the 2017 D cent continues to fascinate collectors around the world. Stories of people finding rare coins in everyday circulation have always been at the heart of numismatic excitement, and the 2017 D Lincoln cent is no exception to this narrative. Across decades of collecting, there have been countless examples of individuals who casually examined their pocket change or a jar of old coins only to discover a rare variety or high-grade piece that changed their lives. These stories travel quickly, passed between collectors, shared in news headlines, and amplified on social media, and they create a sense of possibility that keeps the public engaged. One of the most famous modern parallels comes from the discovery of high-grade state quarters in America, the beautiful quarters pulled directly from bank rolls. In some cases, a perfectly preserved example graded by a top certification service ended up selling for thousands of dollars at auction, even though the coin could have been spent for just 25 cents. These moments show that despite huge mintages, careful searching can lead to unexpected rewards. For the 2017 D cent, collectors are constantly on the lookout for similar opportunities. The myth of big money coins, like the rumored $10 million cent, is fueled by this combination of rare success stories and widespread accessibility. Almost anyone can check their change for a 2017 D penny. Unlike ultra-rare coins that are locked away in museum collections or private vaults, modern coins are still in circulation, waiting to be discovered. The idea that a coin as common as a 2017 D could secretly be worth a fortune taps into that universal human fascination with hidden treasure. Coin forums, YouTube channels, and collector groups have played a massive role in amplifying the hunt. Videos showcasing rare coins, explaining grading, or revealing top errors to look for draw huge audiences. The 2017 D often appears in these discussions because it is easy to find, and any unusual example can be used to teach viewers how to check for potential value. Some videos speculate about astronomical prices for extreme cases, and while those figures are often hypothetical, they capture viewers' attention and keep the 2017D in the conversation. The psychology of these hunts is fascinating. Most people know logically that the odds of finding $1 million coin are tiny, but the excitement of possibility keeps them searching. The act of looking is rewarding in itself. Each coin becomes a small mystery to solve, and each roll opened is like unsealing a package of potential surprises. This is why the coin collecting hobby remains vibrant, even in a digital age. People enjoy the tangible experience of handling coins, inspecting them, and dreaming of the rare treasures they might find. What makes the 2017 D Lincoln cent particularly interesting is that it represents a moment in modern minting where design, production, and collecting intersect in a way that future historians might look back on as a turning point. The shield reverse had already been in use for several years, collectors had embraced the series in competitive sets, and mint technology had reached a point where extreme quality was possible, making ultra-high-grade coins both more achievable and more desirable. In such an environment, it only takes one standout example to make headlines. This combination of accessibility, competitive collecting, and the occasional spectacular auction result creates an environment where hype can grow quickly. If a unique 2017 D variety were discovered, social media could spread the news worldwide in hours. Within days, collectors everywhere would be examining their change, dealers would be searching their inventory, and auction houses would be preparing for a high-profile sale. This kind of frenzy has happened before with other coins, and it could happen again. The allure of the $10 million valuation, while extreme, works as a kind of symbol. It represents the dream scenario, the idea that a coin you hold in your hand could be a once-in-a-generation find. Whether or not such a price is realistic today is less important than the fact that people believe in the possibility. That belief keeps the search alive, and as long as people keep looking, the 2017 D cent will remain a coin of interest in the hobby. The transformation of hype into real market action is one of the most fascinating processes in numismatics, and the 2017 D cent provides a perfect model to explore how that can happen. Hype by itself is just talk. It needs certain conditions to ignite real market momentum. In the coin world, this ignition typically begins with a verified discovery, often authenticated by a respected grading service such as PCGS or NGC. When a coin like a 2017 D cent is confirmed to have an extraordinary error or achieves an unprecedented grade, the grading company's certification acts like a spark. Once that spark is lit, major auction houses step in. They know that publicity sells coins, and if they have a headline-worthy piece, they will craft press releases, share high-resolution images, and tease upcoming sales. Social media accounts for the grading companies, dealers, and collectors amplify this news. Within days, YouTube channels, TikTok videos, Instagram posts, and online forums are buzzing with discussions. The combination of rarity, certification, and storytelling creates the ideal conditions for hype to turn into market action. History provides countless examples of this cycle. The 1955 double-die penny was not immediately recognized as a classic rarity, but once collectors realized how distinct the doubling was, demand surged. Prices rose rapidly as more people learned about it, and even decades later, the coin remains a staple in any discussion of valuable cents. The same happened with the 1969 S double die and the 1983 double die reverse. These coins prove that a modern issue can go from overlooked to legendary in a relatively short period of time when the right elements align. In the case of the 2017 D cent, those conditions would likely involve either a discovery of a dramatic variety or an absolutely flawless coin at a grade beyond what has been seen before. Imagine, for instance, a perfectly preserved MS-70 2017 D Lincoln Shield cent certified by PCGS or NGC. If the population report showed it as the only example at that grade, the value could spike sharply. While $10 million is still an extraordinary hypothetical, the auction price could easily reach a level that captures public imagination. The role of collectors in driving these prices cannot be overstated. Registry set competition has transformed modern coin collecting, turning what was once a casual hobby into a high-stakes game. Collectors strive to own the highest graded coins for each slot in their set, and when there is only one coin at the top grade, competition becomes fierce. Even coins with massive mintages can achieve astonishing prices in these scenarios, and the 2017 D-cent is no exception. Auction results can also create a feedback loop. When one 2017 D-cent sells for an unexpectedly high price, the sale itself becomes news. More people begin searching for similar coins, more coins are submitted for grading, and anticipation builds for the next auction. Dealers and collectors track these sales closely, knowing that each high-profile result raises the perceived potential of the coin. In the age of social media, these moments spread faster than ever, and hype can reach millions of people in days. If the 2017 D were ever to break into truly astronomical territory, such as a multi-million-dollar sale, it would likely happen during a moment of peak collector excitement. This could be triggered by a major anniversary of the Lincoln cent, a national coin event, or even a broader trend in collectible markets where buyers are chasing rare, high-profile items as investments. The coin world has seen such surges before, often tied to economic conditions, celebrity involvement, or headline-grabbing auctions in other collectibles like art or sports cards. While the $10 million figure remains symbolic, the potential for the 2017 D-cent to become a legendary modern coin is rooted in the same dynamics that have made other modern coins famous. It's a mix of rarity, timing, collector psychology, and a touch of luck. These factors together create a story that is as much about human behavior as it is about metal discs struck in a mint. Collector psychology is one of the most powerful forces in the coin market, and the 2017 D-cent serves as a perfect lens through which to observe it. Collectors are not just motivated by logic or investment returns. There is an emotional and sometimes almost instinctive drive behind the pursuit of coins. When it comes to something as common as a 2017 D penny, that drive often begins with curiosity. People see a coin in circulation and wonder, could this be the one? That initial curiosity can quickly evolve into passion, and passion can lead to competitive determination. The Denver Mint in 2017 unknowingly contributed to this passion by producing a massive volume of cents with astonishing consistency. But even in such precision production, small quirks appear. Tiny variances in die state, slight differences in strike pressure, or even minor alignment changes can create coins that look different under magnification. For a casual observer, these details might seem insignificant, but for collectors, they are clues, hints that something rare might exist among the billions. Speculation feeds on these hints. The coin community thrives on discussions of what if? A collector might post an image online of a 2017 D-cent with an unusual surface pattern, sparking dozens of replies debating whether it's an error, a planchet flaw, or just a trick of light. Each of these discussions keeps the coin alive in public consciousness, reinforcing the idea that extraordinary examples could be out there waiting to be found. Market speculation takes this energy and amplifies it. Dealers understand the psychology at play, and many know how to build excitement around certain dates and mint marks. A dealer might advertise a high-grade 2017 D with strong photos, a glowing description, and references to past record prices for similar coins. Even if the sale price is modest by investment standards, the presentation makes the coin feel like an opportunity. Over time, these repeated promotions create an aura of potential around the date. The fact that the 2017 D-cent is so accessible actually enhances this effect. Anyone can obtain examples of this coin, whether through bank rolls, pocket change, or bulk purchases from dealers. This universal accessibility means that hype doesn't just live among elite collectors. It spreads to casual searchers, new hobbyists, and even people who have never collected coins before. The idea that something ordinary might secretly be extraordinary is an irresistible hook. When news spreads of valuable modern coins, whether it's a 1999 wide AM cent, a 2014 double die, or even a modern quarter selling for thousands, it keeps that hope alive. The 2017 D stands at the intersection of this hope and the real possibility of rare finds. With billions minted, most examples will be common forever, but in the minds of collectors, the possibility of a standout piece exists in every roll. The $10 million narrative, while exaggerated, is a perfect example of how speculation operates. Even if no such sale has ever happened, the very fact that people talk about it influences the way the coin is perceived. It turns the 2017 D-cent into a kind of modern legend, a coin that, under the right circumstances, could be worth a fortune. In this way, speculation becomes a self-sustaining cycle. As long as people continue to search and discuss the coin, its story grows. This story is not just about money. It's about the thrill of discovery, the joy of competition, and the satisfaction of owning something unique. For many collectors, the hunt is its own reward. The dream of a massive payout, whether realistic or not, adds energy and excitement to the process. The 2017 D-cent will continue to benefit from this psychology as long as collectors remain active, and as long as the Denver Mint's coins from that year continue to circulate. The Denver Mint's 2017 production run is a case study in scale and precision, and it's a critical backdrop for understanding why a coin like the 2017 D-cent has both commonness and hidden rarity built into its story. In 2017, the Denver Mint was equipped with some of the most advanced coining presses in history, capable of striking coins with incredible uniformity. These presses worked in a highly automated environment, producing billions of cents that were visually identical to the naked eye. Yet no matter how advanced the technology, the very nature of mass production guarantees variation. Every die, no matter how perfectly engraved at the start, gradually wears down as it strikes hundreds of thousands of planchets. Minute erosion on the die's surface can soften details, create minor distortions, or even result in doubling effects. In rare instances, die cracks form, leaving raised lines or blobs of metal on coins. Each of these tiny variations adds another layer of potential rarity to the 2017 D series. The production process itself begins with enormous coils of copper-plated zinc, which are fed through blanking presses that punch out the round planchets. These planchets are then annealed, cleaned, and prepared for striking. At this stage, quality control ensures that each planchet meets weight standards, around 2.5 grams, but occasional deviations can slip through. If a planchet is slightly underweight, overweight, or improperly plated, the resulting coin can differ subtly in appearance or structure. Once the planchets enter the striking phase, the Denver Mint's presses apply tremendous pressure to impress the design. The obverse die carries the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, originally sculpted by Victor David Brenner in 1909 but digitally adapted over the years, paired with the D mint mark and 2017 date. The reverse die features the Union Shield design, symbolizing the unity of the states and Lincoln's preservation of the nation during the Civil War. Each strike must be perfectly centered, yet with billions of coins being struck, minor misalignments inevitably occur. These create collectible varieties like off-center strikes, broad strikes, or coins struck slightly out of collar. The Denver Mint's consistency in 2017 means that most coins appear flawless at a glance. But this is precisely what makes true high-grade examples so rare. In a sea of coins that all look nice, finding one that meets the razor-thin margin for a grade like MS-68 or MS-69 becomes incredibly difficult. Every microscopic mark counts, and even coins fresh from rolls can show faint contact marks from the bulk handling process. When a perfect example does emerge, it becomes a lightning rod for collector attention. A single 2017 degraded at the highest level could trigger bidding wars, not because the coin is inherently rare in date, but because it is unique in condition. This is where the Denver Mint's role becomes fascinating. By producing billions of near-perfect coins, it inadvertently makes absolute perfection vanishingly rare. The possibility of one coin standing out in this way is what keeps collectors engaged. They know that somewhere in those massive 2017 production runs, there might be a cent so pristine, so flawless under magnification, that it becomes a modern icon. If such a coin were to cross the auction block at a major sale, the buzz would ripple across the hobby instantly. Dealers, collectors, and even casual observers would begin searching their own 2017 D-cents, hoping to replicate the find. This is the beauty and paradox of modern minting. The better the technology, the harder it is for any single coin to achieve perfection without flaws, and thus the more valuable that perfection becomes. The Denver Mint's 2017 production is a perfect example of this paradox in action, and it's one of the key reasons the 2017 descent continues to captivate the imagination of collectors dreaming of record-breaking sales. Grading services are the gatekeepers of value in the modern coin market, and when it comes to the 2017 descent, their role is absolutely central. Without professional grading, the difference between an ordinary example and one worth thousands, or even the hypothetical millions, would be nearly impossible for most collectors to determine. The two most prominent grading companies, Professional Coin Grading Service (PCGS) and Numismatic Guarantee Company (NGC), apply strict standards to every coin, and their certification can transform a small copper-plated disc into a prize of incredible prestige. The grading process for a 2017 descent starts the moment it arrives at the grading facility. Coins are carefully removed from their holders or packaging, handled only by trained professionals wearing gloves to avoid introducing any marks or oils. The coin is then examined under high-powered magnification, with graders looking for the tiniest imperfections, hairline scratches, contact marks, spots, or flaws in the strike. In the modern mint era, with coins being struck in huge numbers and handled in bulk, even coins fresh from sealed bank rolls often show minute marks from contact with other coins. This is why grades like MS-67 and MS-68 are difficult to achieve, and why MS-69 is almost mythical for business strikes like the 2017 descent. The grading scale runs from 1 to 70, with 70 representing absolute perfection. For a coin to receive a grade above MS-67, it must display exceptional strike sharpness, flawless surfaces, and brilliant luster under magnification. On a 2017 D, this would mean a crisp Lincoln portrait with no blemishes on the fields or devices, perfectly sharp shield details on the reverse, and zero evidence of handling. Population reports published by PCGS and NGC show exactly how many coins have been certified at each grade level. These reports are watched obsessively by collectors because rarity at the top grades drives value. For example, if only a handful of 2017 descents exist at MS-68 and none at MS-69, the competition for those coins will be intense. A single new discovery that raises the population of MS-69 from 0 to 1 could ignite a bidding war, especially among registry set collectors who compete for the highest ranked sets. The market reacts swiftly to these changes. Imagine a scenario where a 2017 descent in MS-69 surfaces for the first time. The grading service announces it on their website, and almost instantly the news spreads across collector forums, YouTube channels, and social media. Auction houses begin making calls, hoping to secure the coin for a headline sale. When the auction date arrives, collectors from around the country, and even internationally, bid fiercely. The winning price, whether tens of thousands or more, sets a new benchmark for the coin. These high-grade sales often have a cascading effect. Collectors begin searching through their own coins more carefully, dealers submit larger quantities for grading, and the population report might shift again as more coins are certified. But even with more submissions, the odds of finding a coin that matches the top grade remain low. This scarcity keeps values high and maintains the coin's allure as a modern rarity. The grading services not only authenticate the coin and determine its grade, but also encapsulate it in a tamper-evident holder with a label that becomes part of the coin's identity. For a 2017 descent at an elite grade, that label, especially with a special designation like First Strike or Registry Set Finest Known, adds to the desirability and prestige. In the eyes of collectors, the plastic holder becomes a passport that certifies the coin's place in numismatic history. It is through this system of grading, population tracking, and market response that the 2017 descent's potential for legendary status becomes real. Without grading services, its story would remain just another rumor about a common penny. But with them, even the possibility of a single extraordinary coin can set the entire market buzzing, fueling dreams of $10 million valuations and keeping the hunt alive.